What's going on, everybody? James Collins here with Green and Clean Professionals. Just coming back to you for the second time on the stream about how to start growing. It seems to me that there's a lot of products coming out that all kind of do the same things, and I noticed that there are similar questions in the forums about how to use different video editing programs. So that goes back to the process of what we're going through here. We're trying to start an AI agency, but we're doing it from scratch, and we're doing it from perspective of someone who's trying to build a business, and we're building this business from scratch. Uh, with that, there's some best practices, and we're trying to learn them together. And one of those is content creation. And today, one of the things I really wanted to stomp on was content creation for video production. So there's almost always you need a intro video for your. I guess if you're doing a podcast, you would need something similar to this. Let me see if this will. So that's what you call a video intro. And I would like to share with you how to make one of those a little bit more of the old fashioned way instead of the newer AI way, which is take a few clips and put them in this magical program that gives you viral content. We will do that later, but there needs to be a fundamental understanding of video production and kind of what you're doing before you get there, because even those programs need massaged just a little bit. Let me share my screen with you. Hopefully everybody can see this screen. So I'll start with my workflow. What I do currently is I use Adobe Creative Cloud. I think we went over this in the last video, but let's share with you some of the apps you get in the cloud. You get Photoshop, Illustrator, two iconic programs. You know about them if you've been around a while. Illustrator does graphics for the artist. You can upload sketches and it automatically does vector art. If you're going to get in 3D printing, if you're going to get into 3D in general, and you need to layer out different graphics for animating those pieces of that graphic, Illustrator is probably the most iconic program in the world for that. If I was to give my opinion, Photoshop equally flagship product, and you got GIMP in Linux if you're a Linux user. Adobe Express is their newest way of taking and doing creative art on the fly. So you can do flyers for like any kind of event, from baby showers to birthday parties. It really has the graphics built in, the interface built in, so you can upload any kind of graphic that you're starting with, and it will update that graphic to something that will be pretty awesome for professional looking anyway. Adobe Acrobat Pro, of course, I always foot stomp on this. You got to have it. You just do. Something similar, if not this. It just comes with the Adobe Creative Cloud, and you'll find that over time that I am an all-in-one solution person. I like everything to be in one place. That way we can automate it. That way we can use these programs to work together and get faster, even if it's not through AI. This is just this is the older way of doing things, but it is still updated because the Adobe Creative Cloud is adding in functions all the time, such as Adobe Firefly here. Adobe Firefly is a AI program completely built for generating images, stock graphics, logos from a prompt. Prompt we will get into in just a few minutes. Stick with me. I know this is a lot of information. Lightroom is a photo editor like Photoshop. It just has its own benefits. Photoshop, you can animate, do video, you can do quite a few things in Photoshop from the timeline. Lightroom is more about taking small pictures. If you're going to blow them up really big, it gives you like a raw editor right off the bat. It gives you abilities to edit your photos with sliders instead of numbers. For the beginner, Lightroom is not only a better choice, it's more rewarding right up front because you see exactly what you're doing right up front. With the raw editor, you just pull the sliders and you're editing your photos like a professional right off the bat. After Effects, been around a while for Adobe. You know that After Effects is flagship product. I build all my stuff in Premiere and After Effects. Let's see here, fonts. As Greg and I mentioned in the website, you always want to optimize everything for their best results. One of the ways you can do that is with your video editing. You can bring in fonts that you like and then install those fonts locally. That's as quick of an introduction as I'll give on that. Adobe Audition, but fonts, always important. Keep that in mind. In a second, I'm going to take you somewhere else and I want to show you something. Audition is audio editing. So you could do your podcasting, you could do your music editing, you could do quite a few things. The Adobe Media Encoder is probably their best kept secret for being able to change. Let me see if I have that open. I think I do. Yeah, okay. So your media encoder here, see this H.264 where the finger's pointing on the screen. You have an output file and you have the type of file it's going to be when it's outputted. It's real simple. So you click on where you want it to go and you select that. And here on this drop down, look at all these codec choices from QuickTime, PNGs, MPEG-4, MP3. These are a lot of the older stuff, but what that will do is that will bring in your older stuff too and give you the ability to transfer it into a newer media type. This is a lot smaller file than their older media types. That's what an encoder does. It takes a really big file and it squeezes it down and basically optimizes it for people who are watching on like 1080 screens, things like that. Let me, on that note, why not open up Premiere? So, in Premiere, I'm just seeing what's new while we're here. I'll click through there. Didn't see anything just completely awesome. I did see today where the cell phone, you can have a cell phone and you can select an area and then just prompt it to tell it what you want. I did see that today. We're just going to grab a project, but I want to show you that this PROJ, that is a Adobe Premiere project. So whenever you download one of these, this is how it opens. So looks like I needed an update. I won't do that live on TV here. Think we'll just go over to let's Let's go where I like to go to look for video, Motion Array. Motion Array is a video template website. You've probably heard of a few others like Envato or let's see, Template Monster was a big one in the old days. But I've been with these guys since 2016. I'd say that as far as ease of use and what they give, this appears to be the program that I'm going to stick with myself, Motion Array. So when you get into Motion Array's website here, you just simply log in and then you go over here and you look for templates. Kind of give you an idea of where to start. Let's just click a template open and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so we like this template in this case. You just simply hit download. Now, one important thing in these templates is the audio, where it says download the song featured in this asset. This is it's pretty common in all of your template editors. You want to make sure and click the download button. So you get your audio too. Now what we'll do is we'll go over here to our downloads folder. This appears to be what it was called. You want to extract. And then from within your file, you want to make sure you're looking for fonts. I always open up this fonts.txt file because you have free fonts in there. If you have a font similar to this in any kind of program that's a graphics program, just simply go to your search browser, type in that font name, and it pulls it right up. All you have to do then is get font right there, and it'll download it to your local computer. That way your local project has the right fonts in it. Okay. So that's Motion Array, because Motion Array has lots of templates. One of my favorite is your motion graphics templates, MOGRT, motion graphic video templates. These are really easy to edit. They're good work, so you can essentially take their work and figure out what they did to do these effects if you're not a video editor yet. But it's all about just getting creative ideas, and you'll find that a lot of the starting and learning is about that. But you do want to have a place to do that. So with video production, I personally recommend Motion Array. They've been around a long time. Well, since 2016, probably that's whenever I first started. Let's go to the next step. Let's say you have an intro, you're making content sort of like this video right here, and you're talking about the things that you do and that you're good at. The next thing would be, how am I going to organize a product? Something that is specific to a specific person and a specific reason. If you've ever looked at software products, like in the AI space, what you're finding is they're sending you to GitHub. GitHub is more of a technical resource for coders in the past. But what it gives you is all of your software where you can go out to a place like this and simply click on this big bright blue code button. Guess what? You can copy that right to your desktop, or you can download all of these, all of the source code for awesome applications, and this is free. So if you want to get out and learn it from the back end coding wise, you're going to have, after you download that, that's going to be a project file. From that project file, you'll want to open Visual Studio Code. And from Visual Studio Code, what you have is the ability to open up those GitHub files and edit the code to your own. I see clone here, but let me see. Do I have a project? I don't know if I have one on this Windows computer. I'm a Linux user myself, so. Here's a couple things I was working on. Okay. So Langflow is something you'll get into if you look from the coding side of AI. It's a Python based, it's built out of the LangChain documentation. LangChain is probably going to be a standard that you learn to code in pretty quick. Really what you're doing is, if you can see here, there's a .env file. The dot in the beginning means it's hidden. You're going to get an env example file whenever you pull it down from GitHub. You always want to use the example file. Their env file is their own, and then you put in your information and your information. And you go down, how many agents do you want? So if you're wanting a voice agent to answer your phone, or say you're a dentist that don't have time to call back all of your patients in between the month, and you want a digital automated voice caller that will call up or text each one of your customers that are coming due this month or within the next 2 months, or whatever parameter you set. And these types of agents are how you do that. And agents, and we can get into those a lot more later, but agents are the ability to stack different tasks with AI. So in the beginning of learning AI, you may go to ChatGPT, you may have the subscription yourself, and you learn a little bit of prompting so you can get an image that somewhat creates an image of somewhat of what you're talking about. Maybe a product brief if you're selling something, maybe a market research if you're a business owner. And you learn to use these tools, and you learn maybe how to use tools that are specific for going out and looking at websites, and learn to look at tools that are specifically built for your local operation, and never going to touch a website. Those requirements up front are really important, but if you grow and scale, you have to have a way to add in additional taskers or additional task agents on top of your tasks. So now it will take and create a document in Google Sheets. Now it'll take that Google Sheets document and may make it a JSON schema, which is just code language for the way computer sees computer. It may make that, then make a prompt that says, let's make this better, and then export the exact same code so you can upload certain things that will start optimizing your website so these agents can find you and you become the number one on Google. Um, so AI will revolutionize the way we search the internet, and the way we communicate with each other is going to be drastically changed, especially with AI voice agents. They're the new popular thing, so uh, we can expect to see that this year in groves. Let's see here. This is for the person who's researching uh, courses, content, and potentially making a product that you can sell a link to your data, whether it's a document full of your own business systems or it's a automation that you created that saved 15 hours on the specific type of thing that you want to share with other members of your company, or potentially build a product list and sell it. This is Kajabi. Kajabi specializes in courses. It's a back end for building those things and products. Not a professional at all of the functions of Kajabi, but what I will say is you get a website, which is your landing page. It's the same concept as you learn and hear these concepts over and over about how a website's built, how the internet works. You're going to hear landing pages over and over and over and over again. For sales, you have to have an offer. It's going to go with your product. Let's just pick one. I just started it this week. So you're going to have a product, you're going to have a description, you're going to have a thumbnail, and you're going to have a price. Choose whether you collect sales tax or not, which is really neat when it comes down to selling products, because now you don't have to get really fancy with how you're going to build that product in a website and promote a website. It product sales, if you can base it to a small product, keep going down and down and down until you find what you have for sale can be somehow shared digitally. This is a great program for that. If you're trying to sell digital products, Kajabi is really good. Now, for courses and for all the stuff, like I have lots of data. I have 500 trainings for sale in that offer that we just looked at. Basically, what this does is teaches you everything from Facebook ads to unlimited income potential with online sales from every single type of online sales in the past 5-10 years, and how to do it effectively, and step-by-step instructions of how to set that up. $100,000 worth of training for only $99. So that's something that I provide my students. That way they're able to always have a repository of where to get your questions answered. I say that all the time because there are times you have to work by yourself when you're building your product, whatever that is, whether you're going to be social media, whether you're going to be video production editor and taking people's clips and making viral videos, whatever your specialty or general skill set is, you're going to have to take that skill set and package it into a product. And then not only that, but you're going to have to come back, say 6 months down the road, and remember exactly what you did to set this product up. That's where I want to give you a little bonus here before I get off. And that is called Notion.io. Notion.io is a place you can put all of your digital notes You can pull digital notes into here and you could start organizing, and it has AI involved in the background, and you could build a quick website. I outlined a prompt engineering mastery course. So to learn the basics of how to use AI, to writing a couple scripts with Python, that's the vscode, and then using those scripts like LangChain to connect all of your models together in the background. What you'll find is you can go out and buy these programs that do these fancy um, one-off tricks that you may need at the time, like a photo editor or a video clips creator, or you can find all of these tools. All of these tools have done the same thing. They have taken and followed this script. They've created a prompt, so the tool knows exactly what it's going to do. They created a script with an LLM attached in the back, or a model, a large language model from artificial intelligence. And you'll find how cheap it is. So you can pay for credits, and you can, uh, some of these places to do a voiceover may cost $30 for a 3-minute video. Um, you can build this and it'll happen for just pennies. It's important to know this. That's why I keep going over the code side, because it will come down to what programs do I need to get where I want to go with my business use case or personal use case, whether I'm trying to organize my calendar, or whether I'm trying to uh, build out a marketing proposal for a client. You still have to know the basics of prompt engineering and what programs you need to use to get to a final product. Um, there are so many coming out right now that the tools have become almost obsolete. Um, what I would suggest is finding a tool set that gives you all the capabilities in one location, including your CRM. So that's what my products do, is you can fully run all of your automation sequences, and then it's all automated, but you only open up one location, one file server, one program. The exception to that is if you want to build no code applications. No code applications would be, let's go out there. Yeah, voice flow. Let me sign in here. All right. Well, I guess I've built a few in VoiceFlow before. VoiceFlow is a app builder for artificial intelligence. It's a really good one too. Basically, you just open up what you're looking to design. You add a data source. That's how your model then now knows what it's supposed to do. I always look at these updates, new features, because every day new features are coming out. Apologize for getting distraction. So let's just say you want to build a new voice AI agent, which is again a uh, very, very popular product. You could do that here. What you would do is you'd open it up, you would get all your frequently asked questions, all the way to a knowledge base where this artificial intelligence would answer like you do. Uh, you do that off of your SOP work instructions and use case scenarios, and just tabletop with your team, talk back and forth until you come up with enough data to where you now know exactly what you want this agent to do for you, and then put that data in there and train your agent. It's that simple. It is a super simple program to use. And they have a free program. So being able to, here, let me open up Dr. Jeremy's. Okay. Well, when you go through voice flow, uh, keep in mind that you are going to want to know where their documentation is. Excuse me. Just going to zoom this out so you can see what I've done. You first define a role, then you define an objective of what you want this to do. Start with a warm welcome. Then you provide your address, all of your pertinent information, and then you can simply hit test your agent. And don't count out what these right here do. These give you some really good SEO terms for who you are. So you want to plug those in as well. You got your logo. This is just a backlink to your website, but it's a good one. That's how you build in VoiceFlow, and everything's on a stage here. That's what they call it. And if you were to want a button, just simply pull a button out, and then you can pull these things around and connect them, and it's really simple. That's what it's all about, is making it accessible to people who are learning. That's why I like VoiceFlow. VoiceFlow has got for a platform that will work, will start making you money quick. If you want to build these agents for customers, businesses, these guys right here is who I would recommend for that. All righty. That was a lot of words, and I apologize if I was long-winded on some things, but I really want you to be able to succeed in this new digital world, especially with all these applications coming at you. Photo editing applications, video editing applications, and websites that can be spun up in from just a prompt. Building apps on the fly, doing these things for solving like current real world problems is an objective that there's a whole community after right now. So if that's you, if you're on here and you're like me and you're learning about this AI agency, I would highly recommend going to a channel called Liam Otley. He seems to be the dominating instructor in this field, but he's also a giver. So he's going to help you out. He's also community minded, like I am. So I have no competition. There's nothing here that is even close to what he's produced so far. And I think you'll find him to be a good resource for your journey as well, especially for documents, how-tos, and ideas to get you going, and then good customer support, and most importantly, that big community. He has a community of people that are just second to none and being involved in things like that. So let me do one more thing, and then I will be done. I want to open Photoshop. So Photoshop is another Adobe product that when you open it up, you can simply take your photos that you've already downloaded from AI. Any of these pictures will work. And you can just drag it over and drag it in. Typically, gotta update Photoshop too. Typically, what you'll find is this layer right here, the bottom right hand corner. You'll find it under layers. You want to double click on that. Just want to double click and then X out of it. What that will do is unlock the image for editing. Now, when you go to edit something, you can say whatever you want. And I like to highlight my text like that. That way I can come over here and go through it. You can change the color. So you can create graphics really quickly and thumbnails for YouTube videos without paying $10 a month. Those products may be better in the future, but just so you know, if it were me, I would go with all in one solution. That way I had a graphics editor. I got Adobe Acrobat Pro for editing PDFs. It's going to be important that you can change data as you grow. You want to take these products that's already been created, make them your own, make a copy, then you can edit. To get that function, you really need Adobe Acrobat Pro. Photoshop comes with it, so you can do your thumbnails for YouTube, and then you've got Premiere Pro, which is your video editor. You've got Firefly, which is a complete AI engine in the background producing out awesome hero images for yourself. You got InDesign if you're more of a layout for a brochure or a book instead of a website side. Maybe you are an author publisher. That would be a great product for you to lay out your book in chapters and it'd be like a newsletter. And again, the media encoder, always use the media encoder. I pull in videos from my phone all the time and just change them to different formats so I can use them in editing, and it makes my file size smaller. Again, there's 1,000 things a video encoder can do for you, but that comes with the Adobe Creative Cloud. And probably the best kept secret of Adobe Creative Cloud that no one talks about is the Adobe Bridge. Adobe Bridge bridges all of these softwares together in the background, so you not only can open them up, just create a photo or graphic in Photoshop and then hit open in Premiere Pro, and that photo is now on your video editor timeline. You can open it in After Effects. So what I'm saying is everything you do is in a process now. It can be opened in any of these programs, and they recognize where you were in the last program. But that isn't the only benefit of Adobe Bridge. Adobe Bridge for renaming your videos and doing organization for your projects. Unbelievable. You also get that same raw photo editor. You can do it right from the preview window of Lightroom, right in Adobe Bridge. So you can find yourself just being in the home screen of Adobe Cloud and using Adobe Bridge a lot. So don't count out Adobe Bridge. That's one of their best products that I never hear people talking about. But if you remember in Photoshop in the old days, you could do things called batch actions. You could open up all the photos in this folder, rename them, resize them. If you were doing like photo slideshows and video, things like that, you wouldn't want to open each photo and resize it. You'd want to do a script for that so it would do all of them at one time. Adobe Bridge is like the master at that right there. It will take and you can rename all of your photos and it just if you're doing more than a few projects, you'll find out exactly why that is so important. So, Adobe Bridge, this is Adobe Photoshop. I open up Adobe Photoshop to show you can add text. The layers down here, you can see what those do by me doing that. You put it, whatever is on top is the on top. So you have text here that's on top of the image. If I pull this down below the image, now guess where the text is? It's behind it. So if you're having problems with editing graphics in Illustrator or Photoshop, chances are it's in this window called layers. Just simply pull your text above it. Then you can start doing all of your different animations. If you want to do that, there's a timeline we can open up down here. We can we can get into really advanced editing if somebody wants to. You'll just have to comment somewhere on one of these videos and let me know. I am going to say no. And I'm going to stop the screen sharing. And with that, it is exactly 12 o'clock. I respect your time and I hope you have a great afternoon, everybody.